The day I found out my brother Ryan had an affair with my ex-wife Tara was a sucker punch to my soul, a betrayal so deep it cracked the foundation of my family, a wound that bled raw and set off a chain of chaos I'd never escape, a story so twisted it'd hook you from the first word. I was 35, a welder with steady hands and a bruised heart, still reeling from the divorce 2 years back. Tara's "I'm done" a dagger I'd barely pulled out, our split messy but final. Her shadow a ghost I'd banished. My life a quiet grind I'd rebuild alone. It started with whispers, my cousin Jake's hesitant call, "You hear about Ryan and Tara?" A question that froze me, my gut twisting. "What about them?" My voice tight, his sigh heavy. "They've been together, man. Months." A bomb that detonated, my chest caving. A truth so vile it hit like a freight train, my own brother screwing my ex-wife. A double stab that left me gasping. A betrayal I'd never seen coming. A family I'd trusted, now a lie I'd unravel. I confronted Ryan that night, my truck parked outside his duplex, the air thick, his door swinging open, his smirk a slap. "What's up?" A casual jab, my fists clenched. "You and Tara, really?" My roar a crack, his eyes darting. "It just happened." A shrug that lit my fuse, my voice shaking. "She was my wife, you're my brother." A plea he dodged, her pregnancy a bomb he dropped. "She's carrying my kid." A smirk I wanted to smash. My world spinning. Tara's face a ghost. Ryan's grin a blade. A betrayal so sick it choked me. A trust I'd held now ash. A family I'd loved a sham he'd torched. I stormed out, his "We're good, right?" A laugh I ignored, my heart a drum of rage, the brother I'd grown up with, the ex I'd mourned, tangled in a mess that'd haunt me, a secret I'd caught, a wound I'd bear, a strength I'd find in the rubble they'd made. I called Tara, her voice a shock. "It's true, I'm sorry." A whimper I cut off. "You're pregnant with his kid?" My yell a release, her sob a game. "I didn't plan it." A lie I'd choke on, my mind a storm, the woman I'd vowed to now a stranger. Ryan's seat a twist, a marriage I'd lost, a wound they'd ripped open, a family I'd clung to, a farce they'd trashed, a betrayal so raw it broke me, a truth I'd face, a life I'd reclaim, a pair I'd erase, never dreaming my parents would side with them, a pressure I'd fight, a demand I'd defy, a story so wild it'd keep you locked in, a strength I'd forge, a peace I'd chase, a fight I'd win, a dawn I'd claim from the chaos they'd left. I sat in my truck, the night cold, my hands gripping the wheel, their affair a fire I'd walk through, a trust I'd never give again, a family I'd question, a resilience I'd build, a tale so gripping it'd pull you to the end, a wound I'd heal, a life I'd take back, a brother I'd cut loose, a strength I'd rise with, a peace I'd earn in the ruins they'd built. Ryan's affair with Tara was a knife in my back, but the family I questioned after my parents took his side was a deeper cut, a betrayal that turned my blood cold, a storm so wild it'd pull you in and keep you there, a tale of loyalty shattered you won't forget. I was still raw, my welder's hands shaky, the duplex a memory I'd torched. When Mom called, her voice a plea, "You need to forgive Ryan, he's family." A demand that hit like a slap, my jaw tight. He slept with Tara, got her pregnant. My growl a wall, her sigh heavy. He made a mistake. Let it go. A line that stunned me, my chest burning. A truth so twisted it flipped my world. The parents I'd leaned on picking my brother's filth over my pain. A trust I'd held now dust. A family I'd loved, a lie I'd probe. A wound I'd carry. A fight I'd start. A strength I'd scrape from the mess they'd made. Dad piled on, his gruff tone sharp. "We're all he's got. Tara's keeping the baby." A jab that sank deep, my voice rising. "He screwed my ex-wife. That's on him." My fury ablaze, his grunt dismissive. "You're strong, you'll get over it." A shrug that broke me, my head spinning. The brother who'd shared my childhood, now their golden boy. Tara's belly a prize they'd cheer. My hurt a footnote they'd skip. A betrayal so vile it choked me. A bond I'd trusted, a sham they'd propped. A family I'd question. A resilience I'd build. A story so raw it'd grip you tight. a peace I'd chase, a fight I'd wage, a dawn I'd claim from the ruins they'd built. I hung up. There he needs you, a buzz I drowned. My heart a drum of rage. The parents I'd honored siding with sin, a pressure I'd buck, a trust I'd shed, a strength I'd find in the chaos they'd stoked. I drove aimless, the night thick, my truck a queue, their words a loop. Forgive him, he's blood. A guilt trip I'd reject, my mind a whirlwind, Ryan's smirk a ghost, Tara's voice a sting, a family I'd known a puzzle I'd crack. Their bias a weight I'd shrug, a betrayal so deep it shifted me, a life I'd reclaim, a pair I'd erase, a tale so wild it'd keep you hooked, a strength I'd forge, a peace I'd earn, a fight I'd win, a dawn I'd seize, never guessing they'd push harder, a demand I'd defy. A story so tense it'd lock you in, a trust I'd burn, a family I'd doubt, a resilience I'd rise with, a wound I'd heal in the fire they'd lit. I pulled over, the engine idling, my hands gripping steel, their plea a chain I'd snap. Ryan's affair a scar I'd bear, Tara's kid a twist I'd face, a family I'd question, a strength I'd wield, a peace I'd craft, a fight I'd own, a tale so gripping it'd pull you through, a life I'd take back, a brother I'd cut, a trust I'd never give again, a dawn I'd shape from the ashes they'd left. Jake checked in. They're nuts, man. His voice a lifeline, my laugh bitter. Yeah, they chose him. A truth I'd chew, the garage a refuge, my torch a pulse, their pressure a noise I'd mute. Ryan's betrayal a wound I'd mend, Tara's pregnancy a fact I'd shrug, a family I'd probe, a strength I'd claim, a peace I'd hold, a fight I'd end, a tale so real it'd keep you riveted, a trust I'd lost, a life I'd rebuild, a brother I'd shun, a dawn I'd grasp, a resilience I'd hone, a story so bold it'd hold you fast, a pressure I'd resist, a family I'd redefine, a strength I'd grow, a peace I'd secure, a fight I'd finish, a tale so wild it'd keep you to the end, a wound I'd turn to steel, a life I'd own, a trust I'd bury in the dirt they'd sown. My parents' defense of Ryan's affair with Tara was a bitter pill, but the pressure that mounted when they demanded I forgive him and play nice was a chokehold I'd never bow to, a family drama so intense it'd hook you deep, a story of defiance that'd keep you riveted. I was still processing, my welder's torch a lifeline, the garage a fortress, when Mom showed up, her face pinched. We're having a dinner. You need to come. Make peace, a plea that stung. My jaw tight. Peace with Ryan? After Tara? My voice a blade, her eyes wet. He's struggling, the baby's coming. A guilt trip I dodge, my chest burning. A demand so twisted it rocked me. The parents I trusted pushing me to hug the brother who'd stabbed me. A trust I'd lost, a ghost they'd haunt. A family I'd questioned, a wall they'd build. A wound I'd carry, a fight I'd spark. A strength I'd summon from the chaos they'd fueled. Dad doubled down, his call gruff. You're tearing us apart. Show up. A jab that hit hard, my laugh cold. He tore us, not me. My fire a roar, his huff sharp. Tara's family now, get over it. A line that broke me, my head spinning. Ryan's kid a crown they'd polish. My pain a speck they'd sweep. A betrayal so raw it clawed me. A bond I'd cherished, a lie they'd spin. A family I'd doubt, a resilience I'd forge. A tale so wild it'd grip you tight. A peace I'd chase. A fight I'd wage. A dawn I'd claim from the mess they'd made. I hung up. Their "we need unity," a drone I'd mute. My heart a furnace. The parents I'd loved forcing my hand. A pressure I'd buck. A trust I'd shed. A strength I'd rise with. A story so tense it'd lock you in. A wound I'd turn to steel. A life I'd guard. A brother I'd shun. A peace I'd craft in the storm they'd brewed. The dinner loomed, my phone buzzing. Mom's text soft, please for me. A pull I'd resist, my gut churning. Ryan's smug face a ghost. Tara's bump a taunt. A family I'd known, a trap I'd dodge. Their pressure a weight I'd shrug. A betrayal so deep it shifted me. A life I'd reclaim, a pair I'd erase. A tale so real it'd keep you hooked. A strength I'd wield, a peace I'd earn, a fight I'd win, a dawn I'd seize, never guessing they'd push further, a demand I'd defy, a story so bold it'd hold you fast, a trust I'd burn, a family I'd redefine, a resilience I'd hone, a wound I'd heal in the fire they'd stoked. I stayed away, my apartment a haven, their calls a hum I'd ignore, Ryan's affair a scar I'd bear, Tara's kid a twist I'd face, a family I'd probe, a strength I'd claim, a peace I'd hold, a fight I'd own, a tale so gripping it'd pull you through, a life I'd take back, a brother I'd cut, a trust I'd bury, a dawn I'd shape from the ashes they'd left. Jake saw it. They're blind, man, his voice a rock, my nod firm. They chose him, a truth I'd chew, the garage a pulse, my hands steady, their pressure a noise I'd kill. Ryan's betrayal a wound I'd mend, Tara's pregnancy a fact I'd shrug, a family I'd question, a strength I'd build, a peace I'd secure, a fight I'd end, a tale so vivid it'd keep you riveted, a trust I'd lost, a life I'd rebuild, a brother I'd ditch, a dawn I'd grasp, a resilience I'd grow, a story so wild it'd keep you glued, a pressure I'd crush, a family I'd reframe, a strength I'd rise with, a peace I'd win, a fight I'd finish, a tale so raw it'd hold you to the end, a wound I'd turn to iron, a life I'd own, a trust I'd leave in the dirt they'd sown, a dawn I'd claim, a strength I'd keep burning bright. The pressure to forgive Ryan and Tara was a relentless tide, but the demand that broke me came when my parents insisted I financially support them and their new family. A betrayal so outrageous it'd hook you hard, a story of defiance that'd keep you glued till the end. I was holding steady, my welder's spark a lifeline, the apartment a bunker, when Dad cornered me at the garage, his voice gravel. We're struggling. Ryan's out of work. Tara's due soon. A plea that stung, my eyes narrow. And? My tone ice, his jaw tight. You've got savings? Help us out. A bomb that detonated, my chest caving. A demand so twisted it floored me. The parents I'd trusted begging me to bankroll the brother who'd wrecked me. A trust I'd torched a ghost they'd haunt. A family I'd doubted, a wall they'd raise. A wound I'd bear. A fight I'd ignite. A strength I'd summon from the wreckage they'd piled. Mom followed up, her call soft. We're desperate, you're doing well. A jab that sank deep, my laugh bitter. I'm not paying for his mess, my fire a roar, her sob sharp. He's your brother. We need you. A guilt trip I'd shred, my head reeling. Ryan's kid a burden they'd pin. My pain a speck they'd ignore. A betrayal so vile it crushed me. A bond I'd cherished, a lie they'd twist. A family I'd probed. A resilience I'd forge. A tale so wild it'd grip you tight. A peace I'd chase. A fight I'd wage. A dawn I'd claim from the chaos they'd sown. I hung up. There, it's your duty, a hum I'd kill. My heart a furnace. The parents I'd loved demanding my blood. A pressure I'd smash. A trust I'd shed. A strength I'd rise with. A story so raw it'd lock you in. A wound I'd turn to steel. A life I'd guard. A brother I'd shun. A peace I'd craft in the fire they'd lit. Their plea escalated. A letter in my mailbox. We've got nothing. You're our rock. A script that choked me. My hands shaking. Ryan's smirk a ghost. Tara's bump a taunt. A family I'd known a trap I'd dodge. Their demand a weight I'd hurl. A betrayal so deep it shifted me. A life I'd reclaim. A pair I'd erase. A tale so real it'd keep you hooked. A strength I'd wield. A peace I'd earn. A fight I'd win. A dawn I'd seize. Never guessing they'd push harder. A demand I'd defy. A story so bold it'd hold you fast. A trust I'd burn. A family I'd redefine. A resilience I'd hone. A wound I'd heal in the storm they'd brewed. I tore it up, my savings a fortress. Their calls a buzz I'd mute. Rhina's affair, a scar I'd bear. Tara's kid a twist I'd face, a family I'd question. A strength I'd claim. A peace I'd hold. A fight I'd own. A tale so gripping it'd pull you through. A life I'd take back. A brother I'd cut. a trust I'd bury, a dawn I'd shape from the ashes they'd left. Jake raged. "They're insane, man." His voice a rock, my nod grim. "They want my cash for his kid." A truth I'd spit, the garage a pulse, my hands steady. Their demand a noise I'd crush. Ryan's betrayal a wound I'd mend. Tara's pregnancy a fact I'd shrug. A family I'd probe. A strength I'd build. A peace I'd secure. A fight I'd end. A tale so vivid it'd keep you riveted. A trust I'd lost. A life I'd rebuild. A brother I'd ditch. A dawn I'd grasp. A resilience I'd grow. A story so wild it'd keep you glued. A pressure I'd smash. A family I'd reframe. A strength I'd rise with. A peace I'd win. A fight I'd finish. A tale so raw it'd hold you to the end. A wound I'd turn to iron. A life I'd own. A trust I'd leave in the dirt they'd sown. A dawn I'd claim. A strength I'd keep blazing bright. My parents' demand for my savings to prop up Ryan and Tara was a breaking point. But the stand I took against their twisted loyalty was a fire I'd stoke. A rebellion so fierce it'd hook you deep. A story of resolve that'd keep you locked in till the last breath. I was done bending. My welder's spark a lifeline. The garage a stronghold. When they ambushed me at home, Mom's eyes pleading, just a little help for the baby. A plea that burned, my voice steel. Not a dime for his mess. My stance a wall, Dad's growl sharp. You're selfish. We're family. A jab that shattered me. My chest tight, a demand so warped it fueled me. The parents I'd trusted guilting me for the brother who'd betrayed me. A trust I'd torched a chain they'd pull. A family I doubted, a cage they'd lock. A wound I'd bear, a fight I'd wage. A strength I'd summon from the ruins they'd piled. They pressed harder, Mom's tears a tool. We're broke, Ryan's lost. A sting I'd deflect, my laugh cold. He lost me when he slept with Tara. My fire ablaze, Dad's fist slamming the table. You owe us, we raised you. A claim that broke me, my head pounding. Ryan's kid a debt they'd pin. My pain a speck they'd crush. A betrayal so raw it clawed me. A bond I'd cherished, a lie they'd wield. A family I'd probed, a resilience I'd forge. A tale so wild it'd grip you tight. A peace I'd chase, a fight I'd own. A dawn I'd claim from the chaos they'd sown. I stood tall. I owe you nothing, this is his. A line I'd draw, their gasps a hum I'd mute. My heart a furnace. The parents I'd loved demanding my soul. A pressure I'd smash. A trust I'd shed. A strength I'd rise with. A story so tense it'd hold you fast. A wound I'd turn to steel. A life I'd guard, a brother I'd shun. A peace I'd craft in the storm they'd lit. Their fight escalated. Dad's call next day. We'll cut you out, no inheritance. A threat I'd shrug, my voice flat. Keep it, I'm done. A stand that freed me, my gut steady. Ryan's smirk a ghost. Tara's bump a taunt. A family I'd known a trap I'd break. Their demand a weight I'd hurl. A betrayal so deep it shifted me. A life I'd reclaim. A pair I'd erase, a tale so real it'd keep you riveted. A strength I'd wield. A peace I'd earn. A fight I'd win. A dawn I'd seize. Never guessing they'd push further. A demand I'd defy. A story so bold it'd keep you glued. A trust I'd burn. A family I'd redefine. A resilience I'd hone. A wound I'd heal in the fire they'd stoked. I locked the door. My savings a fortress. Their pleas a buzz I'd kill. Ryan's affair, a scar I'd bear. Tara's kid, a twist I'd face. A family I'd question. A strength I'd claim. A peace I'd hold. A fight I'd end. A tale so gripping it'd pull you through. A life I'd take back. A brother I'd cut. A trust I'd bury. A dawn I'd shape from the ashes they'd left. Jake backed me. They're delusional. His voice a rock, my grin grim. They think I'll cave, a truth I'd spit. The garage a pulse, my hands firm. Their demand a noise I'd crush. Ryan's betrayal a wound I'd mend. Tara's pregnancy a fact I'd shrug. A family I'd probe. A strength I'd build. A peace I'd secure. A fight I'd own. A tale so vivid it'd keep you hooked. a trust I'd lost, a life I'd rebuild, a brother I'd ditch, a dawn I'd grasp, a resilience I'd grow. A story so wild it'd hold you tight, a pressure I'd smash, a family I'd reframe, a strength I'd rise with, a peace I'd win, a fight I'd finish, a tale so raw it'd keep you to the end, a wound I'd turn to iron, a life I'd own, a trust I'd leave in the dirt they'd sown, a dawn I'd claim, a strength I'd keep blazing high. My stand against my parents' demands was a line in the sand, and the freedom I claimed by cutting them off was a blazing victory over their twisted allegiance to Ryan and Tara, a liberation so fierce it'd hook you tight, a story so wild it'd keep you riveted till the final word. I was unshaken, my welders torch a lifeline, the apartment a sanctuary. When their calls stopped, a silence I'd earned, Mom's last text, "You're no son," a sting I'd shrug, my voice calm, "Good," a truth I'd own, Dad's gruff, "You're dead to us," a weight I'd shed, my chest light, a freedom so raw it steadied me. The parents I'd trusted choosing the brother who'd gutted me. A trust I'd burned, a chain I'd snapped. A family I'd doubted, a cage I'd smashed. A wound I'd healed. A fight I'd won. A strength I'd forged from the wreckage they'd piled. A tale so vivid it'd grip you hard. A peace I'd shaped. A life I'd guarded. A dawn I'd seized. A resilience I'd built. A story so bold it'd hold you fast. Ryan reached out, his voice a plea. "We need you, man." A lie I'd crush, my laugh cold. "You needed Tara, not me." A fire I'd stoke, his sigh weak. "I messed up." A confession too late, my stand firm. "Live with it." A wall I'd raise. Tara's kid a shadow I'd dodge. My pain a speck they'd ignored. A betrayal so deep it freed me. A bond I'd lost, a lie they'd spun. A family I'd probed. A strength I'd claimed. A tale so real it'd keep you hooked. A peace I'd earned. A fight I'd owned. A dawn I'd shaped from the chaos they'd sown. I blocked him, my savings a fortress. Their demands a hum I'd killed. Ryan's affair, a scar I'd smoothed. Tara's pregnancy, a fact I'd shrugged. A family I'd questioned. A peace I'd secured. A fight I'd ended. A tale so gripping it'd pull you through. A life I'd reclaimed. A brother I'd cut. A trust I'd buried. A strength I'd risen with. A freedom I'd won in the fire they'd lit. They faded, rumors swirling. Ryan's broke, Tara's stressed. A whisper I'd ignore. Jake's nod firm. "You're better off." A truth I'd chew, the garage a pulse, my hands steady. Their pressure a ghost I'd banished. Ryan's betrayal a wound I'd mended. Tara's kid a twist I'd faced. A family I'd reframed. A strength I'd grown. A peace I'd held. A fight I'd finished. A tale so wild it'd keep you glued. A trust I'd shed. A life I'd rebuilt. A brother I'd ditched. A dawn I'd grasped. A resilience I'd honed. A story so tense it'd lock you in. A demand I'd defied. A freedom I'd seized. A strength I'd wielded. A peace I'd crafted. A tale so raw it'd hold you to the end. A wound I'd turned to iron. A life I'd owned. A trust I'd left in the dirt they'd sown. A dawn I'd claimed. A strength I'd kept blazing bright. I stood taller, my work a rhythm. Their shadows gone. A calm I'd built. A fight I'd conquered. A freedom I'd tasted. A story so vivid it'd keep you riveted. I'd sit alone, the night still, my beer cold. Their voices a hum I'd crushed. Ryan's smirk a blur. Tara's bump a memory. A family I'd shed. A strength I'd claimed. A peace I'd secured. A fight I'd owned. A tale so bold it'd hook you deep. A trust I'd lost. A life I'd shaped. A brother I'd erased. A dawn I'd won. A resilience I'd forged. A story so wild it'd keep you tight. A demand I'd smashed. A freedom I'd embraced. A strength I'd risen with. A peace I'd locked. A tale so real it'd pull you to the finish. A wound I'd healed. A life I'd guarded. A trust I'd buried. A dawn I'd lived. A strength I'd wielded. A freedom I'd made my own. A story so gripping it'd leave you breathless. A fight I'd won for good. A peace I'd claimed forever. A life I'd built anew. A tale so raw it'd echo. A strength I'd forged. A dawn I'd hold. a victory I'd keep burning strong.